continuing her tradition of transparency in local government, and it's Bernadette Lee with Lafayette Live and Nanette Cook today.
Yes, she is joining us on the line. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So we have a lot of questions, but we wanted to start so we were talking, Rob and I were talking this morning about one of our local talk shows yesterday. And so before we get to kind of the, stuff about alcohol, tell me what you were listening to Shannon and
yesterday, Brandon
about.
And Shannon on Offsides were talking about the issue that was coming up. I don't know if it was for debate or to be passed regarding the ability for the police chief to make decisions about closing bars and nightclubs on the spot due to unsafe situations. Where is that debate? Did it pass? What's the situation with that one?
Well, actually, it did pass. We voted on that last night.
Okay.
And it did pass and allow our police chief to have that authority. In the past, the fire chief has always had that ability to shut down a facility if there were too many people in it, if they were worried about any fire issues. They always had that ability. So we, as a council, decided that, why shouldn't the police chief have that same ability? So we did pass that last night. And there were a couple of concerns about, should we give either one of those people that much authority to shut down a private business? And, I feel very comfortable, as I think my council members do as well, that the police chief, our current police chief, I feel, that we have today, will always make the correct decision in terms of, having to shut down a facility for imminent danger, which is what the term that's used in the ordinance. And personally, if I had a child that was in a situation in a bar somewhere or a business somewhere, or anywhere that there was a potential for that, I would want that place to be shut down. To protect, my child and everyone else in there.
I think one of the questions that came up from, one of the callers yesterday said, okay, well, how do you define safety? We know if you've ever bought a house or looked in an apartment, if you ask the person, is it safe? They're not going to tell you because it's a lot of personal responsibility about safety. So where do you see that, or how would you define the imminent threat situation?
I guess, last night that came up as well. And I believe that, the imminent danger definition just referred to, safety of the individual in there that was life-threatening, the potential. If there's a potentially life-threatening event, if you see someone walking in there, or a situation in there that would be harmful for anyone in there, life-threatening, harmful, not, if somebody just bumps you and, that's not life-threatening. But if there's a situation that is life-threatening, that would be how I would understand the definition of imminent danger.
Yeah. That could run the mill from a variety of different things, I guess. Maybe if you have way too many people in a particular club, or, is there a situation where somebody screams fire, and there's not really a fire, or whatever the case may be, you mean really imminent danger happening at that point.
Right. Really, it's in the best interest of everybody, in that facility that something be done. If you suspect that there was anything in there that would be dangerous or any situation that would be harmful for anyone in there, as the owner of that establishment, it would be your responsibility, I would think, to make sure that all your, patrons are safe. And if someone comes in and declares this is definitely an unsafe situation, I know there will be some pushback probably, but I can't imagine that there would be, so much to the point where, we have to pull this back, So I feel very comfortable, as I think the other members did, in terms of, having this passed. And, again, right now, it's like everything we do, it's always a work in progress. And to me, this is erring on the side of more cautious than saying, okay, well, whatever, So and I think that's our job.
I know one of the things that wasn't very clearly defined, at least in the original version, was how long this would be in effect for. Would the business owner get a hearing in, 2 days, or is it a month? If these local businesses, they kind of survive night to night, where is there consideration by the council on that?
No, and I respect that. Yes, we don't want to shut them down for a week or anything in that regard. Yeah. From what I understand, the situation would be shut down until the issue was corrected. Whether it's just a 24-hour deal, whether it's something that is more serious, it needs to be addressed. And of course, the business owner would have the opportunity to approach the council and or the government in terms of if I do this and that, how quickly can we open that?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to. I feel they're going to work together. Maybe I'm being naive. I don't know, but I feel like we can all keep working together.
Yeah, got to keep the conversation going. You really do. Yeah. Now, let me ask you about the provision in the code that deals with an establishment that sells alcohol within 300 feet of a church. So,
okay, that's still there. That's still there. The only difference really is our waiver that was put into the ordinance.
Okay, that's what I was kind of curious about.
Yeah, the waiver, and I think that was the concern of a couple of people in the downtown area. In the past, the waiver, there was, the issue where the council did not have any say in what was being, what establishment was being developed or what was happening in certain areas in terms of bars and restaurants. And it was more planning and zoning. In this particular instance, with the ordinance that was passed last night, it kind of puts a little bit more of authority with the council in terms of being able to allow certain things. Now, that always makes people nervous, and I totally understand that. When you hear the word waiver, everybody gets nervous that, okay, everybody should be treated the same. But, I just feel that in first of all, one size does not always fit all. And,
right.
And I know that's, something that makes, again, people nervous. But I do feel very comfortable with the council that we have. I've worked with these people for over a year now. And I think everyone has the best interest of the community in everything that we do. And so by allowing the council to have this particular authority, this waiver, we can weigh the options. And, look, we answer to the public. So, if you're thinking the public is not going to have a say in this any of these waivers, that's not true. I mean, we all answer to our constituents. And if there's an issue in our district where someone is really concerned about a particular waiver in a business, we will listen. I mean, that's our job. That's what we're put there for. So, the public will still have a voice through us, but it does kind of, allow us to have a little more authority in terms of trying to create some different development opportunities. And, all with the best interest of the neighbors of any of these establishments,
Well, and I mean,
does that answer?
It does. No,
make sense to you?
It does answer the question. Absolutely. And like you said, people can always contact their council person and say, look, what's going on with this? Why is this way? But this other business does it this way. There's always that possibility.
Right. That conversation can always be had, definitely.
Yeah. Well, want to thank you for your time this morning. We've been speaking with Nanette Cook of the Lafayette City-Parish Council. We've just run out of time, but thank you so much for your time this morning.
You're very welcome. I always love talking to y'all.
Well, have a great day.
You too. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
it was an interesting conversation yesterday because, the guys were just talking about, okay, it's a very competitive business. Okay,
Yeah, it is,
the bar and nightclub business. So who's to say a dishonest competitor doesn't send someone in to create a bad situation to get another business shut down? And I think the biggest concern, especially Shannon Wilkerson is a bar owner here in Acadiana. And, his biggest concern was, okay, so do I have to wait a month for a hearing? You could sink any ship.
Right. Absolutely.
Making him close for a month.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of times on a good night, it stretches things thin.
And I think, it should definitely be looked at and kind of not ripped apart, but definitely dissected to see what's the real deal here.